During a shocking autopsy of a baby that tragically didn't survive, an incredible hidden cry is unearthed within the sterile confines of the morgue. The cold metal slab is a harsh reminder of Emily Carter's broken dreams. Once the brightest star in her medical school, the 32-year-old pathologist now stands frail beneath the weight of her failures. The air is thick with antiseptic, wrapping around her like a shroud, a constant reminder of the path she didn't take, the pediatrician she was meant to become. The sterile environment feels like a prison, isolating her from the warmth and vibrancy of life outside those walls. Emily steels herself for what she knows will be a torturous examination, her heart heavy. As she gently lifts the fragile infant's tiny body, a potent cocktail of grief and guilt swirls inside her. Each movement is deliberate yet hesitant, as if she could somehow reverse this loss as she examines the paperwork. A flicker of something hope ignites in her chest, but she quickly stifles it. She has no room for such optimism, not when the memories of her personal tragedy loom like specters. She cannot afford to feel again. She can't risk being crushed a second time. In her focus, she discovers a peculiar notation tucked away in the medical records, an overlooked symptom that could have altered everything. The realization sends a tremor through her. The weight of responsibility is suffocating. Exposing this negligence could mean venturing into a world where her worth would be challenged once more, where she might be dismissed, ridiculed. The professionals she had once admired could become her enemies. But isn't this what she trained for, to seek the truth, to bring justice? The internal conflict leaves her reeling. Is she brave enough to shake the foundations of her community, to reveal secrets she knows could devastate her own family? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Burdened with the truths she has unearthed, Emily finds herself grappling with profound anger and despair. Some days, it is hard to breathe as the tightness in her chest grows. She watches as families, like hers once, struggle for access to health care, their frustrations echoing her own unmet desires. They are trapped in a cycle, just as she feels ensnared, lost in a system that had failed them, just as it failed the baby. The realization twists within her, pulling her deeper into her own shadows. As she navigates the tangled webs of her investigation, she becomes reacquainted with her estranged family, each encounter deepening her conflict. Their hidden scars not only mirror her emotional wounds, but intertwine with the fatal revelation she clings to. She stands at a precipice, torn between familial loyalty and her emerging moral outrage, feeling the noose of her family's past tightening around her neck. Each piece of evidence, every moment she spends dissecting reality, culminates in an unbearable moment of truth, the stark connection between the baby and her own family's history of neglect. As the revelation crashes over her heart, shattering her heart pounds with fear and uncertainty, choking her resolve. What does it mean for her to pursue justice when it could mean shattering her already fractured family? Tremors ripple through her soul as the stakes rise. The fear of what she must confront grows unbearable. In the quiet corners of her mind, the question looms: can she navigate this chaotic intersection of personal history and professional duty? The path winds ahead, dark and twisted, offering no clarity, only growing shadows that challenge everything she knows. The remnants of that infant's fragile existence weigh heavily on Emily as she pushes through her day. Each face she passes in the hospital seems to carry a resemblance to the lost child, amplifying her guilt. It's a constant reminder of her purpose. Yet each step in the corridors feels like an act of betrayal, a walk away from the pediatrician she could have become. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, and she feels trapped in the glare of her own shortcomings, facing the constant onslaught of memories that dredge up the ache within her. As she sits at her cluttered desk, the autopsy report still open before her, Emily allows herself to consider the implications of the notation she found. The medical community, once a source of admiration, now feels hostile. Errors are never taken lightly. The scrutiny she might face could resurrect the very insecurities that her past left her with. In the throes of her contemplation, a thought flashes. She could simply bury this discovery, continue with her life, and avoid another confrontation of her worth. But lurking beneath the surface, the itch for justice gnaws at her, bolstered by the silent suffering of families like the one she had examined. The tension mounts as her phone buzzes on the desk. It's her brother, Caleb. She hasn't seen him in years. A moment of hesitation grips her. Was this call an olive branch or a reminder of unresolved past grievances? Ultimately, curiosity wins. She taps to answer, and she can hear the strain in his voice, an undercurrent of something unsaid. "Emily, we need to talk." "It's about Mom," he says, his tone heavy with urgency. A rush of dread fills her, and she steels herself for the impending conversation, filled with memories of family disputes and lingering shadows from their childhood. "Can we meet somewhere public?" She nods absent-mindedly, a habit from the conversations they once shared, though now it feels foreign. They arrange to meet the following day, and, as she hangs up, her heart races not from excitement, but from the weight of impending revelations. That night, sleep evades her. Thoughts spiral in chaotic loops. The connection she identified between the baby's case and her family looms larger with each passing moment. Perhaps understanding her family's struggles, the turmoil that shaped their lives, could illuminate her path forward. But there's a palpable risk. What if their pain intertwines with her professional duty in a way she can't reconcile? Determination flickers amidst the tumult. This is the crossroads she finds herself at, where her personal history collides with her obligation as a pathologist. Each confrontation is a potential path to healing or a descent into deeper pain. She finally understands, standing at the intersection of her professional life and her family, that to seek justice for unseen suffering might cost her the very foundation her family is built upon. As dawn breaks, a sharp clarity fills her mind. She grabs a notebook and begins jotting down her thoughts, outlining her feelings of betrayal, anger, and the growing resolve to uncover the truth. Emily knows she can't remain a passive witness to the injustices around her, especially those connected to her own past. It's time to confront the family she has kept at arm's length. This could either unite them in facing a shared truth or shatter them further apart. With the sun now rising, she feels an unfamiliar warmth coursing through her veins. She must wield her knowledge, but at what cost? The question weighs heavily in her mind as she prepares for her meeting with Caleb, knowing that the conversation might very well change everything. As she stares out the window, anticipation mingling with apprehension, she whispers to herself, "The time had come to face my family." Emily's breath catches in her throat as she approaches the cafe where she and Caleb agreed to meet. The familiar streets seem oddly foreign, each step pulling her away from the security of her hospital walls and into the uncertainty of familial ties. She feels the weight of her decision settle on her shoulders, a decision that could unravel years of estrangement or reinforce the barriers she had built so carefully. Inside the cafe, she scans the room, her eyes landing on Caleb seated at a table in the corner. The sight of him stirs a blend of nostalgia and anxiety. Time has etched lines into his face, and she notes the tension that flickers behind his eyes. As she approaches, there's a moment of hesitation. They both reach for their respective pasts, the burdens of childhood clinging to them like shadows. "Caleb," she greets, forcing a smile that feels all too fragile. "Emily," he replies, his voice a mix of relief and apprehension. They sit opposite each other, the table a chasm filled with unspoken grievances. Silence stretches between them, thick and suffocating, until Caleb finally leans in, lowering his voice. I didn't want to bring this up over the phone. Mom, she is not doing well. I think we need to address what is happening. The words hit Emily like a blow, triggering a cascade of emotions. Memories rush forward, uninvited faded conversations, the clatter of disagreements, the bitter taste of unresolved conflicts. Yet, beneath the anger lies a flicker of compassion she hasn't allowed herself to feel in years. How bad is it? She asks, her professional instinct kicking in. The clinician in her seeks to assess the situation, but the sister feels the unease coiling tighter in her chest. Pretty bad, he admits, his gaze dropping as if the honesty of his words contains a weight too heavy for the table. She is having trouble remembering things. She thought I was you last week. The revelation leaves Emily momentarily speechless. Their mother, once a figure who embodied stability, is crumbling under the pressure of time and perhaps something deeper. The implications are staggering. Could the same oblivion that defined their childhood now threaten to erase the memories they've buried amidst unresolved conflict? As her thoughts spiral, a sudden flash of resolve courses through her. Caleb, if we're going to deal with this, we need to confront everything. Our past, Mom's history, everything. His eyes widen, a mixture of surprise and trepidation. You mean it? You're actually willing to talk about why we ended up like this? She nods, feeling the ground beneath her shift. Each layer of their estrangement, the threads woven into family gatherings filled with unaddressed tension, could unravel with a single discussion. Yes, I can't keep pretending that it all doesn't matter anymore. The conversation ebbs and flows, each revelation a fissure in their shared history. Emily reveals the gnawing guilt surrounding her professional life, how it had been overshadowed by their shared traumas and the chasm between them. Caleb reciprocates with tales of his struggles, portraying a side of himself she had long neglected to see. The vulnerability seeps into the spaces where bitterness once resided, and she feels a shift of potential for healing that hadn't existed since their childhood. And what about Mom? He suddenly asks. What does her illness mean for you and what you found at the hospital? What connection is there to the past? Taking a steady breath, she prepares to delve into her discoveries, the hidden truths buried within the autopsy report that might thread through their family's fabric. The revelation that could expose cycles of pain or perhaps bring resolution. It's more than I can explain right now, but I believe it ties to what we've both experienced, Caleb, and I think it's time we faced it together. As the weight of her admission settles into the air, a new urgency floods her being. This conversation is merely the beginning, yet a path forward still feels aberrant and engulfed in uncertainty, leaving her yearning to comprehend how the past can shape their futures. The cafe doors swing open, and a gust of wind stirs, carrying with it the pungent aroma of fresh coffee and crisp autumn leaves. Outside, life continues unabated, while inside, she and Caleb teeter on the edge of a precipice. What if we can't handle the truths that could emerge? Caleb asks, his voice barely above a whisper. With determination in her eyes, Emily replies, then we'll find help. Together. As they continue to navigate the complexities of their familial ties, a deeper understanding begins to form not just about their history, but also the possibilities for growth. But the realization that threats still loom just outside the door accompanies them. The truth about her findings and their mother's condition are entangled, a connection waiting to be revealed at the most perilous moment. Emily takes one last sip of her coffee, the bitter edge mirroring her own uncertainty, stealing her resolve to dig deeper into both family and professional life. The moment Caleb's phone buzzes interrupts their conversation, drawing her attention to an incoming notification, a message marked with urgency. As he hesitates to read it, Emily feels an apprehensive thrill. What could it reveal? Maybe this is a sign, she murmurs, curiosity threading through anxiety. I don't know if I'm ready for more surprises, Caleb replies, apprehensively tapping the screen. And with that, Emily understands one vital truth. They must brace for whatever challenges await, and the next twist in their journey will demand everything they've both held back. Emily's heart races as Caleb reads the message, his brow furrowing with concern. What could be so urgent that it interrupted their fragile reconnection? The tension is palpable, an extension of their unspoken fears and unresolved issues. Lost in her thoughts, she wonders how this unexpected news will shape the conversation. Take your time, she urges, though her own anxieties pulse just beneath the surface. She interprets his hesitance as a reflection of their collective past filled with avoidance and the instinct to protect themselves from deeper hurts. Caleb finally looks up, color draining from his face. It's from a doctor. They want me to come to the hospital. Something's wrong with Mom. They found something during her tests. Each word he speaks sends a chill through Emily, the hospital echoing her current fears and memories. She grapples briefly with her clinical instincts, torn between the sister who wants to shield Caleb from further pain and the clinician who knows the importance of transparency. Maybe it's just precautionary. We should go, she says, but her voice trembles slightly. We can't show up unprepared, Caleb protests, an edge creeping into his tone. Prepared for what? Emily shoots back, then softens. Look, we need to face this. Whatever it is, the realization settles it's more than just their mother's health. It's the catalyst for their own healing. After a deep breath, Caleb moves the half-empty cup of coffee aside and steadies himself. You're right. It's time we stop hiding. Her heart swells at the subtle shift in his demeanor, recognizing the courage simmering below the surface. With determination brewing, she suggests, let us revisit what we discussed here. If there is something in Mom's history linked to us, it might give us insight into what is happening. Each idea she articulates feels like a thread unraveling their past and weaving their futures. Caleb exhales sharply. You mean confront her? All those memories we VE buried? He takes a moment, eyes narrowing as he studies her face. A heartbeat of silence passes. Okay, but we must be ready for anything. Emily nods, her conviction solidifying. This isn't just about her health, it's about our understanding of this family. If Mom's condition is tied to something deeper, then we need to face that truth together. She pulls out her phone, scrolling through the data she had meticulously gathered during her time at the hospital. The hidden connections she unearthed must be explored. They might provide the map for their next steps. Look at this, she says, excitement breaching her earlier anxiety. We could piece together our mother's life from these reports and compare them to our own experiences. It could give us clarity. Clarity, Caleb echoes, skepticism flickering in his eyes. Or more confusion. What if we discover things we wish we hadn't? The question teeters between them, the final barrier of hope now tinged with fear. That's the risk, Emily replies, voice steady. But think about it, confronting our past might empower us to move forward, not just with Mom, but in our own lives. They lock eyes, a moment of shared resolve pulsing in the air. Her professional training has equipped her with strategies for difficult news, but nothing could prepare her for the deluge of emotions cascading in a family crisis. I'm nervous, Caleb admits, voice barely a whisper. So, am I? Emily shares honestly. But in every doubt, there lies the potential for growth. This is our chance to redefine ourselves, not as remnants of family trauma, but as partners capable of change. Outside, the wind picks up, rattling the cafe's facade, mirroring the brewing storm of emotions between them. As they prepare to leave, Emily feels the weight of impending revelations pressing down on them. Each unanswered question looms larger, intimidating yet irresistible. Let us go, she urges, her voice infused with a blend of wariness and determination. With the cafe fading behind them, the journey ahead becomes a labyrinth of potential truths waiting to be unraveled. Her heart pounds in anticipation. What truths are they about to confront? And will they be prepared for the revelations that await them? Just as they step into the crisp air, Caleb stops, a new thought illuminating his expression. Are we really ready for that? What if knowing everything tears us further apart? Emily feels that familiar tangle of fear and bravery. The truth is often messy, and whatever lay ahead might challenge their resolve in ways they couldn't predict. The road is winding and fraught with the unknown, yet a flicker of hope ignites within her. This could lead to something transformative. Before she can respond, he pulls out his phone again, his eyes scanning an incoming call. I have to take this, it could be about Mom. Emily watches as anxiety tightens around him, time stretching as she stands feeling the impending shift within her, a deep breath preparing her to face whatever comes next. In that moment, she understands this is more than just about reconciling their past. It's a rebirth, where each truth unraveling might not only define their relationship with their mother, but also with themselves. Will they emerge stronger from the storm of revelations, or will they find themselves lost amidst the truths waiting to anchor them down? Emily stands on the threshold of uncertainty, her heart a kettle simmering with unspoken fears. She can't shake the dread tightening her chest as Caleb's voice drifts into her ear, the sound barely registering through the anxiety's haze surrounding her. Emily, do you even understand what this means? The question hangs heavy in the air, laced with fragile apprehension. What it means is we have to press forward, she asserts, the urgency in her voice unexpectedly emboldening her. Inside, a whirlwind of defenses battles against the rising tidal wave of doubt, but the moment calls for bravery, an armor she struggles to find. Caleb's expression remains clouded, his phone still pressed to his ear, but Emily senses the energy shifting in him. He's wrestling with his own emotions, a dangerous cocktail of fear and responsibility. I just need a moment, he trails off, eyes squeezing shut as if wishing away the reality crashing in on them. Caleb, she cuts through the fog. What we uncover about Mom today will ripple through our lives. We can't keep dodging this. His gaze snaps to her, flickers of indignation sparking within. So now you want us to confront Mom? After years of pretending everything is fine, you think we can just... He stops, the frustration vibrating against a backdrop of shared pain. I think facing her is the only way to find out what fine really means, Emily replies, her voice steadier now. She sees the battle within him morphing. He's on the brink of realization. We can't reshape our future until we dissect our past. Caleb exhales heavily, surrendering to the complexity of their shared history. Their tension is palpable, spiraling like the autumn leaves caught in the wind around them. All of it the unresolved arguments. The estrangement positions itself at the forefront of their minds. It's not merely their mother's potential diagnosis that terrifies them. It's the possibility of being forced to confront the ghosts they've shared for far too long. As Caleb lowers his phone, the blue light from the screen illuminating his face, Emily prepares to speak, when suddenly his gaze narrows with clarity. What if we're not ready for this? The question hangs poised like a dagger, threatening to pierce through their burgeoning determination. What if we're stronger than we know? The words are out before she fully understands them, a challenge spoken that redefines the limitation they've placed on themselves. I wish I shared your confidence, Caleb responds, voice raw but softening. What if we encounter something we never expected? Emily asks, each word calculated. Something that reveals parts of ourselves we didn't even know existed? The exhilaration of possibility tinges her anxiety, grounding her in a hopeful reality. You mean like hidden strengths? Caleb muses aloud, as the wheels begin to slowly turn in his mind. Or even confronting ugly truths about ourselves. Exactly, Emily affirms, buoyed by his engagement. But there's risk in every discovery, Caleb. That's the nature of growth. He runs a hand through his hair, a nervous habit she's grown familiar with. You make it sound so simple, but the truth can hurt. Will we break apart, or will we forge stronger ties? We have to take the chance to find out, she challenges him. His hesitation resonates in the space between them, a knotty question hanging where hope once resided. Silently, they begin walking, their steps echoing on the pavement, leading them away from the cafe into the unknown. Emily's heart quiets as the resolve begins to take shape, guiding her thoughts toward the impending confrontation. What revelations about their family history await them? And how might they shift not only their relationship with their mother, but with each other? It looms ahead like a thick fog, inevitable and terrifying. Let us just take it one step at a time, Caleb suggests suddenly, an ember igniting in his tone. Together, she affirms. We face it together. The hospital comes into view, a stark white silhouette against the darkening horizon, and Emily feels an unshakable grip on her destiny. As they reach the entrance, emotions churn within her, a cocktail of fear, dread, and anticipation. With their resolve hanging in the air, Caleb breathes out slowly, then locks eyes with her, a tentative smile breaking through the tension. All right, let us see what kind of truth awaits us. But as they step inside, the sterile smell of antiseptic tinges the air, a whirling reminder of vulnerability and uncertainty, a prelude to the unraveling of secrets that lie beyond these walls. Just then, an unexpected shadow crosses her mind, a fleeting thought that they might uncover not only layered histories, but their own dormant strengths. What new truths about themselves and their mother will they unveil, and will those truths bind or break them? Emily's feet felt heavy as they crossed the threshold of the hospital, the stark fluorescent lights above washing her in a cold glare. With every step deeper into the sterile space, the anxiety that had hovered over her like a thick fog threatened to engulf her entirely. She felt the weight of the building's atmosphere pressing against her chest, the clinical nature of it clashing violently with the emotional turmoil swirling within. Caleb turned to her, and in his eyes, she noticed the same complex mix of fear and resolution reflected back. "Are we really ready for this?" he asked, a question that seemed to echo in the emptiness around them. The hallway stretched out like an unending corridor of doubt, but Emily pushed through, her determination bridging the gap between their feelings of inadequacy. "I don't know if we'll ever be fully ready," she admitted, grasping her own pulse racing beneath her skin. "But this is our moment. We have to seize it." Her words rang out with a clarity that surprised even her. The statement, once weighty, felt lighter, a personal mantra she could adopt. As they walked to the reception desk, where a nurse stood poised with an air of professionalism, Emily's thoughts shifted inward. What if this confrontation exposed fragmented pieces of herself she had long buried? A part of her thrived on the potential of transformation, of discovering hidden facets of strength, while another part despaired at the possible fallout between her and Caleb, between them and their mother. "Name?" the nurse inquired, pulling her back into reality. Emily exchanged a glance with Caleb and took a deep breath, focusing on the present. "Emily and Caleb Woods," she responded, her voice firmer than she felt, her heart pounding with each syllable. The nurse nodded, typing away at her computer without looking up. "Room 303, down the hall and to the right. Just hold tight. The doctor will be with you shortly." The nurse's flippant dismissal only heightened the gravity of the moment, as they paced down the corridor lined with framed photographs of families and children. Each image felt like a painful reminder of what was at stake. The door to room 303 loomed large at the end of the hall. As they approached, the air felt thicker, charged with unvoiced fears. Emily paused, forcing herself to look at her brother. "No matter what happens inside, we're doing this together." Caleb nodded, though uncertainty still lingered in his eyes. "We're not just confronting Mom. We're also facing ourselves." A flicker of understanding passed between them, a silent acknowledgement of their mutual vulnerability. With a swift inhale, they stepped into the room. Inside, the atmosphere was starkly different. A mixture of family pictures and medical equipment created a jarring juxtaposition that struck Emily. Their mother lay frail in the hospital bed, her face pale yet peaceful. For a moment, it was as if time stood still. The vulnerability of the moment washed over Emily, bringing a strange mix of love and anguish. "Mom?" Emily whispered, her voice barely escaping her lips. It wasn't just a greeting. It was a plea for connection. She felt the weight of years of unresolved conflict gather like a storm cloud, ready to burst. Their mother's eyes fluttered open, and with the slightest shift in her expression, the room transformed. "Emily? Caleb?" Her voice was hoarse but filled with warmth. Sensing an opening, Emily took a small step forward. "We need to talk, Mom. About everything." Before she could overthink it, that urgency took command of her heart, driving her forward. In the brief silence that followed, Emily realized the confrontation was not a single act, but a multi-layered journey toward understanding of their past, their roles, and potentially their future. This was the beginning of a critical unveiling, not only of their mother's health, but also of the suppressed truths they had been running from. As her mother's gaze bore into her, Emily felt the tremors of fear transform into something undeniably exhilarating. She was about to embark on the very exploration. She had yearned for a deeper part of who she was and who she could become. With newfound resolve flooding through her, Emily clutched Caleb's hand tightly, feeling the warm pulse of solidarity between them as the unfolding began. But the moment of clarity was shattered by a sudden beep from a machine, the device standing sentinel beside their mother. One of them was about to reveal something unexpected, an even deeper truth that would change the fabric of their family forever. The harsh beep of the machine echoed ominously through the sterile air, snapping Emily from her reverie. The abrupt intrusion of clinical noise felt jarring against the intimate weight of the moment. She and Caleb stood rooted in their places, eyes locked on their mother, waiting for her next words. A surge of uncertainty raced through Emily, forcing her to grapple with the ramifications of their confrontation. "Emily, Caleb, I'm so glad you're here," their mother croaked, her voice laced with emotions that seemed tantalizingly near the surface, yet painfully out of reach. The frailty of her body contrasted sharply with the depth of her gaze, igniting a colossal inner battle within Emily. Confronting the realities of their parents' choices and her incessant desire for understanding merged in a defining moment. "Mom," Emily started, her voice barely above a whisper. She could feel the heaviness of years of misunderstandings pressing down on her, threatening to suffocate any chance of reconciliation. "There is so much we need to discuss, not just talk," Caleb interjected, the tremor in his voice betraying his determination. "We need to face the truth, the whole truth." A flicker of confusion crossed their mother's face before swiftly hardening into resignation. The palpable shift in the room electrified the air, despite the risk of further unraveling their already frayed family ties. Emily sensed a compelling force and invitation to delve deeper into shared pain. As their mother's silence stretched, Emily was overtaken by memories surging forward. Childhood dreams squashed under the weight of parental expectations, secrets that crawled through the years like shadows, and the love that had often felt conditional. In that charged moment, she ventured deeper. "Mom, do you remember the time we went to the lake?" Her mother's eyes brightened momentarily, but sorrow returned swiftly. "I remember. It was a good time. You were laughing with us." Emily seized upon the flicker of joy, willing herself to harness it. "But it feels like there's a wall between us now. Why is that?" The question hung heavy, its implications immense. The machine's incessant beeping blended with the drum of silence that followed. Emily's heart raced as she sought her mother's gaze, silently daring her to peel back the layers enveloping years of confrontation and reconciliations left unfulfilled. "I was afraid," her mother finally whispered, smoothing the sheets nervously as if dreading Emily's next response. "Afraid to admit my mistakes, afraid of the rift I created, even as I felt love for you both." There was the admission. The cracks in their familial structure began to widen as ambiguity shaped itself into clearer contours. Emily felt a wave of emotion wash over her. This was the moment that could forge a bridge over a chasm of estrangement. Without pausing to think, she forged ahead, "So why not do this together? We can't keep hiding the truth." Their mother's tears welled, and Emily mirrored the emotional upheaval filtering through her. The revelation felt like a game changer, each tear potentially signifying an unearthing of shared fears, embedded resentments, and lost chances. Yet, as liberation brushed near, an unsettling sensation shivered through Emily. Would this new understanding be a bubble set to burst, or could it actually pave a path toward healing? "Emily, I have something to tell you both," their mother started, her voice trembling but resolute. "Something I should have shared years ago." The tremor in the air returned, thickening as Caleb swallowed audibly, eyes wide. The silence begged to be filled, the unspeakable threatening to spill into the open. With bated breath, they gathered closer, anchored by the intensity of the moment, yet acutely aware of the potential fallout. The boundaries defining their family could shift in an instant, recalibrating everything they understood about one another. Was this the moment of truth they needed, or merely another flash of hope before another disappointment? In the silence that enveloped them, Emily felt the foundation. Beneath her shift, teetering on the brink of something profoundly terrifying yet exhilarating. The journey ahead could lead to rifts or resolution, and she realized that whatever her mother had to say could forever alter their path forward. And then, just as their mother drew a breath to begin, the machine emitted a sharp, alarming sound that cut through the atmosphere, demanding their attention. Emily's heart raced, no longer solely driven by the confrontation, but now swirling with anxiety over whatever might come next. Would they still have the chance to listen? Would they be ready to accept the truth? The revelations lingered overhead like a dark cloud, ready to unleash a storm. The stark, beeping alarm of the machine pierced the tension. Instinctively, Emily's eyes darted to the screen, where the heart rate fluctuated like a heartbeat caught in a vice. She felt a rush of panic. In this moment, with their mother's fragile health hanging in the balance, everything that had been initiated felt at risk of collapsing. The path toward understanding lay tantalizingly close, yet an unseen force threatened to yank it away. "Is she going to be okay?" Caleb's voice cracked, his focus shifting from their mother to Emily, desperation etched into his features. Emily's heart sank. The quandary of wanting to navigate this personal upheaval while managing the looming specter of loss felt insurmountable. "We want to know until she talks. We have to let her speak," she murmured, the weight of her own words settling on her shoulders. "Or we won tea if this continues." Caleb shot a glance around the sterile space, then back at their mother. "Mom, what do you want to tell us?" His words were sharp, cutting through the chaotic noise. Her mother took a moment, gathering her breaths as the machine stuttered on. "I should have prepared you both for what I'm about to share. I didn't think it would matter until now." The weariness in her voice carried the gravity of buried truths, and Emily felt her heart contract, prompting her to lean in closer. "Mom," Emily pleaded gently, "we can handle it. Just please, let us in." The pressing urgency within the room stifled her mother's voice, but there it flickered again, hope intertwined with fear. Would they emerge on the other side of this revelation stronger, or would it become another rift in their complex familial tapestry? "Do you remember when your father and I divorced?" Their mother's gaze shifted as if seeking refuge in the past. It was a question that would set the stage for revelations they gathered from blurred memories. "Of course," Emily replied, recalling distant arguments, nights spent wishing for reconciliation. "But that was a long time ago." "Yes, but it changed everything, didn't it?" Her mother's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. "We thought we could shield you, protect you from the fallouts we created. But instead, we built an impenetrable wall. But why didn't you say anything? Why wait until now?" The frustration rose within Emily, battling against the sympathy tugging at her heart. It was a risk to expose raw vulnerability, yet this was the very thing that had splintered their connection. "Because I was afraid," her mother admitted, tears finally breaking free, tracing paths down her cheeks. "I was terrified of revealing the truth of my actions, my fears. I didn't want to hurt you both further." The severance of familial ties felt tangible, yet within that shared pain lay the potential for connection. Emily was acutely aware that this moment might not just be about her mother's hidden fears, but about their own roles in these narratives. And what about the other truths? Caleb's steady voice interrupted. The ones we thought were buried? The air thickened with anticipation as their mother hesitated, conflict flickering across her features. There are darker truths, things I thought would never come to light. The secrets involving your father. Her voice trembled again, this time laced with palpable dread. An overwhelming uncertainty coursed through Emily. Was this finally the moment of reckoning, or merely the first step toward deeper chaos? She sensed they were teetering on the edge of a precipice, one that stretched into the unknown. Each revelation could reshape their identities, applying stitches over the wounds their family bore. Caleb clenched his fists, clearly seeking the resolution that eluded them. Emily mirrored his tension. They were all hurtling toward a pivotal moment that could carve out paths of defeat or growth. In that fraught silence, they faced an ominous uncertainty. Could they endure one more truth? Would it become a restoration of understanding or deepen their estrangement? As their mother inhaled, preparing to recount a story long hidden, Emily could feel the stakes rising higher. The moment crackled with tension, and deep down, Emily realized that what awaited could irrevocably bind or shatter the remnants of their family. Whatever their mother was about to reveal could transform their lives into a landscape of healing or a barren wasteland of regrets. The pivotal moment for the siblings arrived. Would they step forward or retreat? Just as their mother began to speak, another sharp alarm erupted, drowning her words in a chaotic wave of noise, propelling them closer to an impending storm. The new alarm tore through the air, a jarring interruption that sent Emily's heart racing. The room's sterile walls seemed to close in on her as she scanned her mother's pallid face, seeking assurance in the chaos, but receiving only a reflection of her own trepidation. Panic swirled around them like a storm, yet deep down, beneath the uncertainty, Emily felt a flicker of resolve igniting within her. "Don't stop, please," she urged, her voice rising amid the clamor. "Whatever it is, we can handle it." A sense of urgency propelled her words forward, even as she questioned whether she was being truthful. Could they truly shoulder the weight of more revelations? Something in her yearned for clarity, while another part recoiled at the possibility of even greater pain. Caleb's eyes were fixed on their mother, and in that moment, it felt as if they shared a mind. The connection they had forged in the face of this unpredictable tragedy fueled Emily's resolve. She did not want to bury them in silence anymore. They had already walked through the shadows of past regrets. To retreat now would render more than their mother's truth impotent. It threatened to sever whatever bond they still clung to amidst the turmoil. As the alarms finally subsided into a tense lull, her mother took a shaky breath, gathering strength from somewhere deep inside. "Your father's secrets, they are dark, and they're not just secrets. They are decisions that have haunted me for years," she revealed, her eyes now locked onto Emily's and Caleb's. The weight of the truth hung in the air, dense and palpable. "Secrets like what?" Caleb asked, his voice steady yet laced with tension. Emily could see his desire for resolution reflected in the way he straightened up, steeling himself against further heartbreak. "I never told you the full story of why I left," their mother confessed, her voice trembling. "It wasn't just because of the disagreements or the distance. There were moments, choices I made that shifted the course of our lives, and you deserve to know. You needed to understand why it all happened as it did." With every word, Emily's mind raced. It wasn't just an exposition of their father's failings. It was an unveiling of their mother's choices, as if the entire foundation of their lives was suddenly being scrutinized. How would they reconcile her past decisions with the anguish they had endured? "Mom, you have to tell us what you mean. Why didn't you trust us with the truth?" Emily demanded, tension threading through her tone. It was hard to articulate the anger boiling within her. Did their mother believe they could not handle the harsh realities of life? Did she think shielding them would somehow keep them safe? "I thought I could protect you, but maybe I was only protecting myself," their mother admitted, her vulnerability stripping away the facade she had carefully crafted over the years. Emily could see the fear lining her mother's eyes. However, a striking reflection of her own uncertainty. The air in the room was thick with anticipation, the siblings clinging to the precipice of revelation, uncertain of what lay below. Emily's internal tumult battled between the hope for understanding and the dread of the truths that could fracture their already fragile family. Just as the moment seemed to crystallize, something shifted. The monitor began to beep again, rising to a high pitch. Emily whipped around, panic blooming once more as a flurry of nurses rushed in, their frantic energy a stark contrast to the dread mounting in the somber atmosphere. In that instant, it struck Emily that they had been on the verge of unraveling the very core of their family, facing darkness buried deep within, and now they were swept away by the urgency of survival. She felt a visceral pull, an inexplicable need to pry open those secrets before they were lost in chaos. As she instinctively grasped Caleb's hand, a new determination welled up within her. There would be no more waiting for the right moment. She would uncover the truth of her family's past, even if it meant confronting the monsters hidden behind familial walls. "Caleb, we can't let this moment slip away," she whispered, her voice fierce as the chaos swirled around them. "We're not just here for Mom. We deserve to know the truth." The clang of medical equipment faded into the background as a new reality formed a promise forged in desperation. New questions loomed large. What would the hidden truths reveal about their family? And how much deeper did the secrets run? As the weight of their mother's impending revelation lingered, Emily could feel an answer approaching, a storm gathering within her own soul as tensions rose and buried histories threatened to collide. With a flurry of nurses around them, Emily tightened her grip on Caleb's hand, a lifeline amidst the chaos. Their mother lay vulnerable, trapped between the edges of reality and the weight of untold truths. As doctors rushed in to navigate the medical urgency, Emily's resolve crystallized into unyielding determination. "Mom," she called out, the sound of her voice breaking through the enforced disarray. "You need to tell us everything. It's now or never." Her words resonated with a fierce conviction, trembling with the urgency of the moment, and echoed through the room like an electric pulse. The medical team worked diligently, but Emily could feel the atmosphere shifting. Her mother's eyes widened, and even amidst the turmoil, Emily saw a flicker of acknowledgement pass between them, a recognition that they were on the brink of family revelations. Could they confront the shadows that had lingered for so long? "Emily," their mother gasped between breaths, marred by the machinery surrounding her. "There's more to its secrets that connect your father to everything." The words hung like an anchor in the air, grounding Emily as they imbued their very existence with poignant clarity. She met Caleb's gaze again, eyes sparking with realization. This was not just about their mother's health. It was about confronting the fabric of their lives. "We need to understand what went wrong, Mom. Why you made the choices you did," she implored, her heart racing as she sorted through the turmoil of emotions. "I never wanted to burden you, to destroy the image of what you thought our family was," their mother struggled to articulate, each word a labor of vulnerability. "I thought by shielding you from my mistakes, I could protect you both." "Protect us from what?" Caleb interjected fiercely, stepping forward, emotions swirling in his expression. "If you think we couldn't handle the truth, you underestimated us. We're standing here now, ready for whatever you have to tell us." The new influx of staff shifted around them, yet Emily's focus remained steadfast on her mother, whose gaze now shifted from regret to resolution. "There are painful choices, ones that connected to why your father left and why I fell into silence. I made so many decisions that I wish I could take back." Each whispered truth had the potential to reshape not only their understanding of their family's history, but their identities as well. They stood at the precipice of reclaiming what had been left unsaid together. They could dismantle the walls that had marred their connection. "Mom, we're not going anywhere," Emily insisted, keeping her voice tender yet unwavering. "We'll face this together. You aren't alone anymore." She felt herself breathe steadier, anchoring into a newfound strength. In that moment, something shifted. The apparatus around their mother pulsed rhythmically, the alarms quieting as they pivoted their focus inward, preparing for the profound revelations that awaited them. I had a relationship with someone who kept secrets of his own, and those choices have haunted the family our family. I never shared that part of my life because I thought you both wouldn't understand. Their mother confessed, raw and shaken. The air grew heavier as the enormity of the admission filled the room. Emily and Caleb exchanged glances, battling the tumult of shock and understanding flooding their hearts. "Was that why you left him?" Caleb pressed, eyes widening with a combination of anger and disbelief. "Yes," their mother replied, tears glistening in her eyes. "But it wasn't just that. I didn't leave only because of him. I left because I was afraid of repeating the same mistakes with you. I thought if I disappeared, maybe the broken parts of our family wouldn't explore their roots." Emily felt a torrent of emotion rise within her, sadness for the fragmented family, understanding of their mother's fear, and rage for the secrets that had kept them coiled in avoidance. "Mom, you don't have to carry this weight alone. The shadows of the past don't have to define our future." A tremble of relief washed over Caleb's features as he stepped closer, uniting their resolve. "We can confront all of this together. We'll create a new chapter, a chance to understand who we all are." The doctor entered, his expression neutral yet knowledgeable, allowing them a moment to breathe. "I'm glad you're all here. It's crucial for your mother to experience support right now. If you're open, I believe embracing this moment could be beneficial." Emily felt a surge of gratitude. This acknowledgement promised the very healing they sought for far too long. "Yes, we're ready for whatever comes next," she affirmed, locking eyes with her brother, a silent pact of shared healing thrumming between them. With newfound resolve, Emily turned back to her mother. "This is our moment. Let us face every truth together, no more hiding." And at that moment, a palpable shift occurred in the air. The shadows began to recede, chased away by the light of transparency. Emily felt an inexplicable warmth spread through her. She was ready to break the chains that had bound her in silence. As if sensing this shift, the alarms around them grew silent. The beeping monitor reduced to a steady rhythm, a heartbeat, representing the strength of their newfound unity. "More than anything, we are a family," Emily whispered, her voice steadier as she looked at her mother. "Together, we will weave the threads of our history back into a tapestry of understanding and love." In that moment, as they embraced the path forward, Emily understood the resilience found in unearthing buried truths, the power of acknowledging their pasts. The weight of the world began to lift, and she was finally ready to embrace her journey ahead. No longer would she allow silence and secrecy to dominate their existence. This moment marked the beginning of a new chapter, not just for her, but for her entire family. In the fragile embrace of vulnerability lay the foundation for rich and genuine connection, and finally, she felt whole. But this was only the beginning. There were more layers to uncover, more truths entwined within their family journey, all waiting to be illuminated in the light of shared courage. Now, it was time to act, to chase every realization, to embrace the hidden stories waiting to unfold. And as they looked into one another's eyes, determined to seize this moment, Emily knew they would emerge stronger together. Now, it's your turn to take part in this journey of personal growth and transformation. Don't miss out. You need to subscribe now to our channel for more exclusive emotional stories that inspire change and resilience. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach even more people who need to hear these powerful tales. Comment your reactions and theories about how this family reunion unfolded, and share what you think is going to happen next. And you must share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who could benefit from witnessing this incredible conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to support the channel and keep the stories coming.